Yeah, and let me repeat what you said. So first of all, I think you said, how big is my stomach? And then you were, while I was setting up the camera, you said, I just want to know how much I can put in there. Okay? Did I hear you say that?
No, I don't want to get to the point where I hurt myself. I want to get below that.
I got you. So you want to know how much to put in there because I don't want to hurt myself. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And here's the answer, which is, there is no answer like that. Because there's no bottom in the bucket. Okay? So let me go back to your normal stomach before the surgery. It had a valve on the bottom and a valve at the top, and you could fill it up and measure the absolute maximum amount you could put in it, and you could give a number, say a quart or 2 quarts or whatever. But your new stomach has no bottom. It falls into the intestine. So you could, if your intestine is moving and moving food through it, like what's called peristalsis, there's no bottom. It could just keep going. Now what will happen though is, depending on the speed this is moving, it will start to fill up and slow down and you'll feel full. But depending on the peristalsis, at one moment it might hold a quart, and in another moment it might hold a tablespoon, and that's all. It depends on the character of the food you eat and the speed that the river inside of you is flowing, called peristalsis. So we have post-op patients. Sometimes you can eat a lot, correct? But other times, surprisingly, not so much.
That's right. You can have 1 or 2 bites.
So there's no way for her to know exactly how much to eat because it moves moment to moment. So there's no way for you to say, oh, I better not eat more than this. Instead, what you have to say is, oh, I feel full, stop. I feel full, I better stop, right? And if you don't listen to that, whoop. But you can't, and we could tell you that basically it's about 100 cc's is the size of the pouch, but that doesn't mean anything for how much you can eat. Because it has no bottom. There's no valve at the bottom of it.
100 cc's is like a small can of V8 or something.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any difference. If you could eat a tiny piece of bread like this, and you could be done.
Oh yeah.
You could maybe drink a quart of milk if you just kind of continue to drink slowly, because it's just going to run out as fast as you drink it.
So our stomachs aren't doing anything anymore?
What we want to do is convert the stomach from its old responsibility of being a reservoir, where we could sit down at a table and order an appetizer, a second appetizer, a salad, an entree with 2 sides, and your stomach inside would be going, boo, 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 boo. And then the waitress would come, and you'd be sitting there like this going,
bring me dessert.
And the waitress would say, do you want dessert? And you go, and you could do that in the past because that stomach was like a fan. It was intentionally designed, and the valves would close, it would fill up until you could not eat anymore. Okay? Now, if it goes into the bowel and drops into it, we've converted the stomach from a reservoir to just a communication pipe like the esophagus. And that's what we want to do. Now it falls into the gut, and the gut says, you can't eat anymore because this is real greasy. I can't stand it. So even though it was a small amount, the grease means I don't like it, and you get the I'm stopping, you can't eat anymore, even though the volume was small. You might, depending on your gut, some days you might be able to eat pad thai, food with sticky rice, and all go fine if everything's going. You might eat a little too fast, and all of a sudden 2 nights later, that's a disaster, just because you ate too fast. So everything is different with your new stomach because it's not a stomach anymore. We've converted it from a stomach and a reservoir with valves into basically just an extension of the esophagus dropping straight into the small bowel. So for example, something real sugary or sweet. Boom! Oh! Rough, unpleasant, difficult. Just because it's so sweet, or so fatty, or so greasy. So you might be able to eat a whole bunch of something that's well chewed and not very fatty and not very greasy, and you could eat barely a tablespoon or a couple tablespoons of cheesecake that's super sweet and greasy.